What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video. Following up on my Fallen Soldiers 3 predictions video with the recap, man. Kind of like a summary style recap here. As one thing I have to mention going into this card, even though I do think the card had its high points and it delivered in sections, but there was a lot of cancellations from the original card, even going into the day of losing your main event, Geechee versus Oppa, canceling the battle the day of. So a lot of things where I'm kind of, part of me, if I hesitate to put some thoughts together and go through the card, because compared to the original flyer, compared to what we got last night, there are some starch differences. But like I said, still some good battles. And I also want to go ahead and say there was some battles that I straight up just did not get a chance to catch. Who battled last night that I didn't get to catch? Human versus Tech. I caught the third round. It was a battle I did want to catch. Just wasn't able to get to those first two rounds in time. I did not catch Archduke Red Cat's battle. And basically, if I miss anything here, if a battle's not mentioned, that's on me. I just was not able to watch that. But I did watch a good portion of the card, including some top battles I was looking forward to. So let's just get right into the recap. So starting off, I did catch Roheezy versus Classic. Thought it was a pretty decent battle to lead off. I know Roheezy has a style that's very, someone said it, very grind time-ish, right? And for those of the people that like that, comedy elements, animated at times, just a different type of approach to battle rap. It's going to have its followers and people that like it. So, and I even think he pulled it off well in this battle, and that's typically a style that I don't gravitate towards, but I think there's a real argument that he won in the first two rounds of this battle. I saw a lot of people saying that, but I thought Classic was very good. His third round being maybe the best round of the battle, in my opinion, won the third. Very, very clear. And also, in my opinion, edged the second round of the battle. Thought it was pretty close. I got to give credit when, even if it's a style I don't love, I got to give credit when it's executed well. So good debatable joint to start out, but I did have Classic second and third winning that battle. Next battle that I was able to catch was Nox versus King Yoshimitsu, and it was a one-rounder, all right? So Eunice and Nox, I remember, was originally on here, and that got canceled or postponed, and then it was Big Wok versus King Yoshimitsu, which I'm not really sure why that didn't go down. So opponents flipped, and they ended up having, instead of a three-rounder, a one-rounder. But I gotta say, is actually one of my more favorite battles on the card, to be honest with you. I thought Nox was really good. And it has the ability, very animated. There is a lot of yelling after the bar and kind of gassing up his own bar, which it could tone down. But I'm understanding that's kind of part of the shtick here. You know what I'm saying? High energy the entire time, always yelling. But I thought he had good material. You know what I'm saying? He had the King of Babylon joint. I thought that was fire. I'm not gonna be as great quoting the bars as I'd like to. Typically, I didn't get to sit with it, take my notes. We're just watching it live. And then King Yoshimitsu, a lot of energy of his own. I thought that he was great. The white rice steamroll joint, thought that was fire, super performative. It's just an energy battle. And then one rounder. So I believe they said they had 2 weeks prep, but 2 weeks prep for a one rounder. I'm not a battler, but I could say it's definitely got to be easier just to do a one rounder instead of 3, right? Different approaches and whatnot. So they just really barred back and forth. You add that to both of them being animated, is a pretty good joint, man. I got to say, I was pretty impressed with both gentlemen. I think I had Nox edging it, but it's a one rounder, right? So it's just all up in the air. But I thought it was dope. Next battle I was able to catch, I'm trying to remember the orders that they did this in. I believe Ryda versus Death the Kid was the next battle that I was able to catch. And this was pretty big going into it for Ryda, especially being that it's going to be his first performance off URL, right? And I got to say, I thought it was a pretty good back and forth for the most part, too. Back and forth in the sense that Death was pretty good on his own, but I thought Ryda did show levels in this battle, and it's what I expected, just straight bar for the most part, back and forth. Death is a puncher, Ryda is a puncher, so that's what you're gonna get. But Ryda, listen, man, and maybe it's just a difference in level of competition, right? Because while I do think Death is good, he is prone to kind of getting outclassed here and there, like the Oppa battle, right? Like this battle here, I thought the JC battle, and not just smoked per se or anything, but just outclassed. Guys are reaching higher peaks, and Ryder was fire for the most part. I don't have anything crazy to quote off top. Obviously had a lot of crazy death flips and had some real talk in the third as well. Even though his third, he ended, I think that there's an option to go and give Death that third. But those first 2 rounds, man, I thought Death was good, but I thought Ryder was putting on a great performance, which is big for him. Like, that first, if you have a leaving of a company, anything that attracts that type of attention towards your name, you want to take that buzz, build on it with the next performance, and I think this is definitely a good first step where I had Ryder up at 2-1 clear, winning the battle. So, 2 more battles to talk about here. First one, which I did not watch in its entirety, so in terms of calling a winner, can't really give you that, which is Mozzie versus Kang. Watched about like 70-80% of the battle, but even missing just a little bit that I did, going in and out, doing a couple of different things. I don't want to speak to the winner, but I can speak to my enjoyment of it, and I gotta be honest with you. Didn't really like this one. Mozzie, obviously one of URL's newest talents. Not just he's from like the second iteration of the top 6. And he's been up and down from the footage that most people have watched. Casey, obviously, was terrible. He got bodied. Hansel shocked people. I personally had him winning that battle, but it's a close battle. And his other YouTube footage, like I said back when I was before he battled Casey, it's not that inspiring, and this kind of goes back to more of that. Just straight punching. Kang was just straight punching too. A bit of like an obscure, out there type of delivery. I have watched him versus Bill was pretty fire. I remember watching that. So he clearly has some work with the pen. Sometimes a little too out there for me, right? But my thing is there was a punch-heavy battle, and on a card that has a lot of punch-heavy battles and punchers, it just wasn't one that stood out to me content-wise like the others, or just, overall. So for me, I can't really speak to a winner. I heard it was a pretty close battle, but wasn't the biggest fan of either performances in this one. But that leaves you with what became the main event. And listen, Geechee versus Oppa getting canceled, very tough to happen the day of, and just really tough for the card overall. But Chef Trez versus Los Premee, that was the reason I was watching this, right? And that was also, like, when it got announced, that's when I realized I wanted to talk about Fallen Soldiers 3 and what iBattle's got going on, because I'm a big believer in Los Premee. You know what I'm saying? One, Chef Trez has been fantastic, been giving out good footage everywhere that he goes. Great 2023. Now you get into 2024. He's just doing more of the same. But Los Premee has obviously garnered a lot more attention lately. I know Calico was giving him a shout out. Tay-Rock, all types of top tiers. We will talk about Tay-Rock and Los Premee here in a minute. But for me, I will say found out. I've heard the rumblings of Los Premee, but I started watching the footage maybe just a little bit before, not that long before. All these top tiers and all these cosigns he's getting, and I remember watching the Danny battle live and being like, God damn. And I'll say one thing is that maybe when you look at his footage, although him versus JR was great, but his footage versus some of the other talent, it doesn't look like he's like a runaway talent. I mean, shit, he lost a judge battle to Death the Kid in a not so good battle, right? And to be fair, respectfully, I think that right now he looks like a much bigger prospect than Death the Kid as a talent. But it's this performances versus other like vets, man. I don't know if you guys have seen Los Premee versus Ace Amin. He was fantastic in that battle. Obviously him versus Danny, he was super firing. And now him versus Chef Trez, 3 rounds is no fucking different. This battle is just as good as I was hoping it was going to be. And it is one of those where even though all these cancellations, all this movement on the card, this battle being this good just feels like it just validates the event no matter what. On top of some other, like highs that I talked about earlier in the card. But from first round to third, nobody has a bad round in this battle. The first round for me is the closest round of the battle. I give Los Premee the second. Clearly. People are saying every round's debatable, but I thought he clearly won the second round. And Chef Trez wrapped second. So in the first round, he gave him 3 of them things, 3 rebuttals. But Los Premee went in the second. He rebutted all battle. And he rebutted pretty flawlessly, but his rebuttals in the second, dog, he had something, Chef Trez had a hard drive in memory of bar. This man said, in memory, but I know about stuff in the Mac till there's no storage. That shit was crazy. I probably butchered it a little bit, but that shit was crazy. He was just as impressive as some may suspected he could be in this battle. So in terms of like speaking to the winner of the battle, like I said, super close if I didn't say it before, extremely debatable battle. I stick by what I said with Premee winning the second clear. Just thought that starting out with those rebuttals and then just what he got into, another bar that he had, I'll catch 3 of them things in the back of the head like schizophrenia. What? he's just, as a writer, like, he just has those, just some of his peak haymakers are just written at a different level. And for a puncher, which I'm stressing, you see a lot of on iBattle, a lot of different in terms of volume, in terms of amount, in terms of just like, but there's just a lot of punching. I mean, the way that this guy writes and delivers it, to me, it just sticks out. So, once again, got to give my praises to Los Premee. But like I said, in terms of the winner, I personally had Chef Trez edging the first and third of the battle. I think there's a million different ways you could argue this one, because I don't even know if I gave Premee the second clear. I don't know if I'm the only one that did that, but the first for me was like super 50-50, but it was Trez's best round. I just felt like he kept punching through until the end, plus he had his 3 rebuttals at that point, which he obviously rebuttals a lot more throughout the battle, but those were probably some of his more effective ones the entire battle, on top of the fact that when you talk about rebuttalers, you get caught up on maybe what did they do at the start of the round, but he's just punching like that throughout the round. So what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's useless almost in separating them. They're just extra haymakers in a sense. But I edged Trez the first, and then the third even I think is like pretty debatable. But I thought Premee that time, I think it was like his second rebuttal, kind of ended it weird and just said, fuck it, I'm getting right into my round. Very small thing, very, very small thing to pick at. But if there's anything, I guess that's that. But you could debate it a million different ways. Easily could have Premee 2-1, even call Premee gentlemen's. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's the craziest, just because I think he is the clear round of the battle while the other two are debatable. But I thought Trez just had a little bit more. So really, really good. I was kind of expecting Trez to like just completely show levels to the point that it's like maybe like a Ryder versus Death sense, where it's like a pretty good look for Death, but just how good is it going to be, as like another good L. But for this one, this is genuinely debatable. I am going to want to see Premee go to other leagues and see if he can pull this off in different crowds. I have the confidence that he can, but it's just one of those things that I want to see. You want to see the evolution, because I think this guy has real battle rap star potential, man. And listen, I'm not saying leave iBattle by any means, by the way, but I'm just saying in general, for any battle rapper, it's good to travel and get those different looks on different platforms. And now that leaves us with the announcements for Fortitude 3. Oppa, after his Geechee battle gets canceled, now has Bigg K. I think that the crowd is going to be enamored with Bigg K when he gets over to iBattle. Jesus Christ. But it shows Bigg K as starting the year, battling next, battling Oppa, so giving some shots out as opposed to just the straight top-tier schedule last year. Although I know he's talked about that he wants to battle Goods, Rocks, Twerks. Like, there's a lot of different guys that he has the potential to battle that are still big-time marquee matchups. But it's good to see him showing some love and giving some shots here to start the year. I can't wait to see what Oppa does with Bigg K. Like I said, I think Bigg K is going to translate, especially if there's that comedy aspect mixed with like the belittling, the clowning, and that punching, which is key on iBattle. I think he has everything to be successful there. So it's going to be a tall task for Oppa, but obviously he wrapped a little bit of his Geechee material. It's pretty fantastic, so I think he will have very admirable material for Bigg K. And then you get Los Premee versus Tay-Rock. We know Tay-Rock is battling a lot. He's shown his praises for Los Premee. I will say, you just saw me praise the hell out of Los Premee. I love everything he's doing, and I love this Chef Trez battle. A 3-rounder with Tay-Rock, man, it's pretty early. It's pretty early. I'm not 1,000%. Now, I know that Rock's been giving shots on iBattle now. He battled Fibo, right? And now he's going to go here and he's going to battle Los Premee. I get it. I don't know. It's just really, really fucking early. I think Los Premee is going to be great too, but I just don't know what it's Tay-Rock. It's very early in his career to be doing this. And even then, I think that as he does, he gets a lot of home crowd love. And it's clearly like iBattle shows Los Premee a lot of love, as he should. It is the home league, but I don't know. Third, fourth battle versus vet in your career. It's Tay-Rock in a 3-rounder in the home league, as opposed to maybe building up and battling him in a big spot. Or I don't want to say it doesn't mean more, but I just don't know. I can't foresee a world where he's going to make this truly debatable. I think Tay-Rock is just, he's still within the prime of his career. So listen, you see me question the earliness of it, but I still think the battle's going to be really good. Very interested to see what happens on Fortitude 3. And with the way Rock has a lot of battles to start the year. Between that, we're going to get into March and April. I think he's going to have like 8 or 9 battles already on the schedule. So a lot of things to look forward to and to question going into Fortitude 3. And that is my full thoughts here on everything going on, you know what I'm saying, with iBattle. Fallen Soldiers 3 recap, the announcements that they have going forward, going into their next event. So a lot of big things going on. And like I said, I want to double back just one more time. Even though I'm saying it is super early and I'm definitely taken aback by it, I want to reiterate how fucking fire I think Los Premee and Tay-Rock can also be, regardless of winners. I'm a big wins and losses guy, so I'm always going to look into that perspective, how it can grow the artist's career. I'm gonna take a bunch of different perspectives on it, but the battle itself is great, along with Oppa and Bigg K, so I cannot wait to see what their next event is looking like. And I still think they did pretty good with Fallen Soldiers 3. For me personally, like I said, Nox versus Yoshimitsu, I thought was one of the more bigger standouts from the undercard, even being in a one-rounder. Did I end up mentioning Human and Tech? I ended up catching the third round of that. It looked like Tech was really getting after him, just kind of punching his head off for the most part. Human, a little bit more bizarre of a performance in my opinion. So I had him, as far as I know, I had him winning that round that I watched clear. I heard that the rest of the battle may have looked like that as well. And then you got to talk about Ryder's performance versus Death. Two biggest standouts were Ryder's performance versus Death. And Los Premee versus Chef Trez overall just being an absolutely fantastic battle. So definitely we'll be covering Fortitude 3. You're going to see more. It wasn't just a one-off thing. I do plan on covering iBattle. They throw a lot of fucking cards, man. So I don't know if I'm going to cover every card, but especially throwing big cards like this, definitely going to be covering them more going forward. But it's been J Small Reviews again, y'all. If y'all have seen Chef Trez versus Los Premee, please let me know what you think about the battle and what you think about Los Premee's potential as a talent. And I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.